Hi there and welcome again to OCR Sociology Heaven. One thing is for sure, if you as students do not have any structure when it comes to your revision, then there is no way that you will be passing an A-level exam in sociology. You must have structure and you must have a method to your revision. So today that is what I am going to teach you. The first thing to do when beginning to revise for sociology is to look at the specification. On the screen you can see the specification now, and this is the first part of section A for OCR A-level sociology. It's a really useful document to have because it tells you what you need to know for the exam. The examining body cannot ask you about anything else other than what is on the specification. So if you can be methodical and learn what is on the specification, then you will be able to pass the exam. So you will notice here it tells you a key question: what is culture? Then it tells you what you need to know. So you need to know what culture, norms and values are. And it says that you need to be able to understand the relative nature of culture, norms and values. Cross-cultural material should be used here. Then, in this same section under what is culture, you need to know the different types of culture. So, subculture, high culture, popular culture, etc. So if you can start to tick those off and that you have knowledge about those, then you can begin to be successful in your A-level exam. So, I have created a checklist for you to help you with this. Please pause this video if you're watching it, but I will move through this quite quickly. On the left-hand side, here we have culture, norms and values. These are our key concepts from the specification: culture, norms and values. And so what you need to know is you need to be very familiar with definitions. Any further information, you need examples of those concepts, you need to know how they're relative, and you need to be able to link them to other concepts as well. And if there's any theoretical considerations, that would be useful too. So this is a great checklist because we can start to just tick them off as we go. So let's take values for example. I'm going to start with values. I know I'm going to need an accurate definition. So that's the first thing that I am going to do, but I'm going to produce one revision card for the concept of values. How are you going to do this? So you can use textbooks, class notes, you can revise on the internet, and you can look at any sociology articles that I have given you or any sociology articles that you come across. Okay, so that is what you need to know. Obviously use the textbook that you have from OCR that is created for the exam, but also I would highly recommend using more than one textbook because it gives you other viewpoints about certain concepts, and it might make them easier to understand. Right, so we're going to go back to values and we are going to look at a revision card that I have produced. This is one of the cards that I have produced. You'll notice I've got values in the middle there, and over here I've got a definition that I have found from the textbook. Up here I've got some further information. Okay, anything. This is just more information and is not necessarily a definition, but things which could add or be added to the definition. I have got some examples of British values and other values that are universal. I have got a link to norms, so it says that values form the basis for norms, or they form the guidelines for norms, and then an example there. I have got some information here about the relativity of values. So they're relative by time period, as in they change over time, and they are culturally relative, as in they may change according to a particular culture. And then I've got some information about those 2 points right there. Lastly, I've got some theoretical concepts. So what do functionalists believe about values, and also what do Marxists believe about values, or really relevant information. So that is my revision card right there. And I would say that is good enough to finish values and to be a thorough revision document for the concept of values. So now that you have done your revision on values just here, you can now begin to tick them off to say that you have now covered those points and that you now have 3 examples that are explained, you have other information, and you have accurate definitions, etc. Then you can do exactly the same for norms and for culture as well. So now that you've done your revision, the next thing you now need to do is answer some exam questions and apply the knowledge that you have in an exam context under timed conditions. So here we have it, an exam paper, the only one that's available to us at the moment. It says, define the concept of values. You should be able to do that. It's worth 4 marks. The second question, with reference to the source, identify and briefly explain 2 examples of values. You should also be able to do that. Now you can also answer question 3 as well if you have completed your revision on norms. Using the source and your wider sociological knowledge, explain how norms are relative. So you must practice these kinds of exam questions and also make up your own exam questions. For example, define the concept of high culture, define the concept of global culture. Go through them all and see what you can do. The last question there, using the source and your wider sociological knowledge, explain how values are relative, not norms. So you should be able to answer that particular question as well. So what's the method then for success here? Well, firstly, you need to use the specification to identify what you need to know. Then you can create a checklist of your own, or you can use mine to see which things that you need to know about which concepts. Then you can produce revision notes like the one that I produced on values for you. Then you can tick off what you have learnt. Then you must answer exam questions and apply the knowledge gained under time conditions. This is the most difficult thing. You may all have the knowledge, but if you can't apply it and select the correct information to apply to the question, then that is something that you need to practice, because that is not an easy skill and it's something that comes with time and a lot of practice. Then lastly, mark the work that you have done and look at areas that you need to improve upon or cover again. One of the ways to mark the work is to use model answers that are provided by myself or are provided by OCR. For example, we have model answers here on the OCR website with some commentary, and again some model answers here for the values question as well, with some commentary about how to improve and a better answer. So I'm going to leave you with that method for success. That is a methodical approach to revision, and that way you won't get lost. You won't feel like the task is too much, because you will be able to see your progress and you will be able to see the areas at which you are improving. And you can therefore produce a revision plan as well, so that you do not end up leaving yourself only a couple of weeks to revise 4 units of work. Okay, I hope this has been really helpful. Now start revising, and we'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.